Regulations from Washington are stifling businesses nationwide, and although the drilling moratorium in the Gulf of Mexico was lifted almost a year ago, the industry is still feeling the impact. And our next guest says delays by unnecessary regulatory demands are to blame. Joining us now is Congressman Charles Boustany of Louisiana. Congressman, thanks for joining us. You wrote a letter this week to President Obama demanding Gulf worker jobs be included in this proposal. What exactly would you like to see the president do?
Well, clearly, we need energy jobs, American energy jobs, and if we get the drilling going back in the Gulf of Mexico as it was before, where we don't have these interminable delays in getting permits and exploration plans in place, we can see 230,000 jobs created in the Gulf of Mexico and around the country in 1 year for 2012. Not only that, we'll add $44 billion to our gross domestic product, $12 billion in new taxes and revenues coming into the Treasury from the drilling, and we'll reduce our dependence on foreign oil. This is a no-brainer. 1/3 of these jobs will be created in states outside of the Gulf region, and so this should be a part of any job creation plan.
So, sir, I've heard these kind of numbers before, and obviously that's an area that was thriving. Oil, everyone's saying, hey, Rick Perry, you got dealt 4 aces because you live in an oil state, right? You govern an oil state. What's behind the dragging of the feet in all these regulations? Is it political, or is it just general government bureaucracy?
Well, I think it's a combination of political, because there is a general hostility to American energy production, and we've seen this with this administration. In fact, in the president's bill, his jobs package, he wants to add new taxes on independent oil and gas companies. These are small companies that employ a lot of workers along the Gulf Coast and around this country that supply America's energy needs. He wants to increase taxes. And by slow walking these permits, by having confusion between the regulators on the Gulf Coast and the policymakers in Washington, this is shutting down job creation. It took me 9 months to finally convince Director Bromwich to put everybody in the room together to talk about where some of the problems are and to get clarity. And finally, they accepted that proposal and did it just last week. We've gotten some good reviews, but this is not enough. Let's get American energy production going in the Gulf of Mexico, and you'll see good job creation around this country.
Congressman, this issue is a lot easier to tackle, at least politically, when we see oil prices near record highs. We are nowhere near that. We just closed at $90 a barrel. We know that gas prices are, and people at the pump are feeling a pinch, but the fundamentals in terms of supply and the dynamics that we're seeing in the oil markets don't suggest that this regulation is, in fact, having a negative effect. So give me an argument here for making the changes when we're not seeing any need for it in the marketplace right now.
Well, the marketplace is one thing, jobs is another, and the big issue facing this country right now is jobs. We need job creation, good private sector job creation, and one way to do it is to have an energy strategy that promotes American energy production, promotes drilling in the Gulf of Mexico and our shale formations. These are good-paying jobs, and it will go a long way to alleviating some of the unemployment that we're seeing in this country today. But secondly, with the economy in a downturn right now, yes, there's been a downward pressure on the prices of oil, but people are still paying a fair amount at the pump. It's still very costly. And once the economy heats up again, those prices are going to come right back up. But the number one issue is jobs. And if you want to get job creation, private sector job creation really going strongly in this country, energy production has to be a big part of it.
Absolutely. All I can say to that is amen. And when you consider how much money is being pumped into alternative energy at the taxpayer's expense, this seems like a no-brainer. Keep up the good fight. Thank you very much, Congressman Charles Boustany. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
In today's Tech Connect, Stuart Varney